Have you heard of Goldfield Ghost Town? It's filled with both Southwest charm and legends of paranormal activity. I recently visited this Arizona attraction, and in this video, I'm giving you a tour. My name is Brandy Aguirre, and I'm a real estate advisor in Arizona. Please tap that subscribe button because each week I post new videos about the real estate market in Arizona, tips for buying and selling a home, and local Arizona highlights. Also, make sure to stay tuned for the end of the video where I'll share spooky stories about this haunted ghost town. Goldfield Ghost Town is located at the edge of the Superstition Mountains near Apache Junction, Arizona, and Lost Dutchman State Park. It was established in the late 1800s before Arizona became a state and was still called the Arizona Territory. When gold ore was discovered, the town of Goldfield shot up to about 1,500 residents. But after a few hopeful years, the grade of ore dropped and the town died. In the 1920s, there was a valiant effort to revive the town of Goldfield. At that point, they renamed the town to Youngsberg. In the 1940s, there was a catastrophic accident by a military training flare that burnt down 60% of the town, and eventually everything in town was salvaged or lost. The current owners purchased the land in the 1980s, reconstructing the entire town and laying it out exactly as it was in the late 1800s. Today, Goldfield Ghost Town gets visitors from all over the world and makes for a really fun day trip from anywhere in Arizona. You can spend all day here. With Wild West attractions, shopping, and entertainment, there is so much to do. Let me show you around. The Blue Nugget is a jewelry store that offers sterling silver jewelry made with gemstones natural to the American Southwest. You can also find rocks, gemstones, and gifts from the American Southwest, as well as a big selection of salsa and hot sauce. You could bring a piece of the Arizona desert home with you. The Cactus Shop sells succulents, cacti, and plants native to Arizona. They even package the cactus up so you could bring them with you on the plane if you're flying from another state. Siphon Draw Apothecary offers organic skincare products made in small batches. They use wild, harvested botanicals from the surrounding desert. Their handmade soaps are gorgeous and they smell incredible. Border Town sells Mexican pottery, metal artwork, and blankets. They also sell dolls, knives, and switchblades, which is spooky in itself. Motherlode Mercantile is by far my favorite shop at Goldfield. They have a huge selection of vintage gifts and toys. I happen to have a giant sweet tooth, so their huge selection of old-timey candies gets me every time. They also offer homemade fudge, chocolates, cactus candy, and saltwater taffy. This time I walked away with some licorice and some prickly pear fudge, which they say is the only one in Arizona. Speaking of sweet treats, let's move on to Goldfield's dining options. The Coffee Cantina makes coffees, cappuccinos, pastries, and cinnamon rolls. They also offer lunch and a variety of lemonades and smoothies. I enjoyed spicy elote and a prickly pear lemonade. I had to ask a really nice couple not to judge me after they commented that my lunch was basically the lunch of a 12-year-old kid because everything I was eating was pink. At Miner's Grill and Ice Cream Parlor, you can get hot dogs, hamburgers, and ice cream with homemade waffle cones. Since I was already on a roll with my childish lunch, I kept that going and ordered a peppermint ice cream cone. The biggest and most unique dining experience at Goldfield is Mammoth Steakhouse and Saloon. This place offers indoor and outdoor seating, live music, cowboy cookouts, and hitching posts for your horses. Grab a beer or a sarsaparilla and enjoy the phenomenal views of the Superstition Mountains. Once you've had a chance to browse the shops and grab a bite to eat, you might be ready for some adventure. Here are some things to do in the area. Goldfield Ghost Town is home to Arizona's only narrow-gauge railroad. You can take a 20-minute train ride around all of Goldfield. On this tour, the engineer will tell you stories about the history of the town and the surrounding area. Goldfield Mine Tour gives you an underground tour of the gold mine. You'll get a history lesson and be introduced to some of the gold mining equipment. After you resurface from the gold mine, head over to Prospector's Palace. Here you can pan for gold and find your own treasure. This is such a fun activity to do with the kids. At Lulu's Bordello, you can take a tour guided by a floozy and learn all about the history of women living in the 1800s. Down the hill from the bordello, you'll find the Superstition Reptile exhibit where you can see snakes and other desert creepy crawlies. There's even an expert on site to answer any questions you might have about these creatures. For even more history, take a stroll through Goldfield's Historic Museum. There are exhibits and artifacts highlighting the history of the area, and upstairs, you'll find a movie museum dedicated to westerns filmed in the area. For an overhead view of the town, hop onto the Superstition zip line. This zip line takes you 120 feet in the air before you zoom back to the ground to safety. If the zip line scares you to death and you feel like you need to go thank the heavens, head up the hill to Church on the Mount. This church features an organ from the 1880s and pews built in 1931. It even holds worship services on Sundays at 11 a.m. Next to the church is the Eagle Eye Shooting Gallery, because this is the Wild West and where else would it be? And if you like the smell of gunpowder, make sure to catch the Goldfield Gunpowders. On weekends starting at high noon, you can witness gunfights and an attempt to steal the Wells Fargo Strongbox. A trip to the Wild West is not complete without a horseback ride. With Superstition's OK Corral stables, you can take a ride in as little as an hour or stay out riding the trails all day long. And for an even wilder ride, you can go off-roading with Apache Trail Tours. Earlier in the video, I mentioned that Lost Dutchman State Park was right across from Goldfield Ghost Town. The visitor center at Lost Dutchman opened in 1977. This is an amazing place to spend the day outdoors and take in the view of the Superstition Mountains. There are several trails for hiking, biking, wildlife viewing, and geocaching. They even offer picnic tables if you don't want the physical activity but want to just spend the day outdoors. You can find deer, coyotes, javelina, bobcats, and jackrabbits. This is also an amazing place for bird watching. Since you're in the desert, you also might run across some snakes, tarantulas, scorpions, roadrunners, Gila monsters, and an occasional skunk. This is a great place to have weddings and other large events, and you can also apply for a permit to have photography taken here with the superstitions in the background. Lost Dutchman State Park also offers campgrounds and cabins on site. Your kids can take a pledge to help the park rangers to protect and preserve the park and to become a junior ranger. After completing some fun and educational activities, they can get a junior park ranger badge to show off to their friends. One of the trails here is a short nature trail. On this trail, you'll find desert trees, cactus, and flowering plants. Now let's spend the end of our day back at Goldfield Ghost Town. Towards the end of your day, make sure to capture your memories at Time After Time Antique Photography. Here you can dress in Western and Victorian clothing, pick your props, and get copies of your photos. Once the sun goes down, it's time for Goldfield Ghost Town's Walking Ghost Tour. On this 1-hour nighttime tour, your guide will share legends and curses that haunt this mining town. Now that we're on the topic of ghosts, there are some pretty creepy stories about this town. While working on the grounds, the owner of Goldfield found the skeletal remains of a miner who fell 150 feet down a mine shaft to his death in the 1800s. Now there's a headstone on site in his memory. And you may have heard of a show called Ghost Adventures on the Travel Channel. The host, Zach Baggins, visited Goldfield Ghost Town and stayed the night. During their stay, the film crew reported heavy paranormal activity in the bordello. In fact, over the years, there have been several reports of paranormal activity at Goldfield. Multiple people have reported seeing a mysterious figure in a cowboy hat lurking around the bordello. There have also been reports of knocking and banging sounds, and a few unlucky guests walked away with some unexplainable scratches. In the saloon, several people reported hearing the mournful wailing of a woman, as well as seeing a ghost-like figure floating behind the bar. Whether you're looking for some Arizona history, wanting to enjoy the American Southwest, or just want to take in the incredible views of the Superstition Mountains, Goldfield Ghost Town is such a fun place to visit. Before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to my channel because each week I post videos about the real estate market in Arizona and local Arizona highlights just like this. Thank you so much for watching. No, you're rambling. I'm so disappointed. Dessert, oh my god! Yep. The blue nugget. Ooh. Youngsberg. Get it together. No, 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 no.